Alright, so I'm some random nobody. We're gonna talk about some My Hero Academia Shigiraki shit. We're gonna go straight in. The only intro I guess I have to deserve to give you guys is spoiler warnings if you're an anime only. I'm gonna go into manga stuff and just kinda go. Okay. So, Shigaraki is not the villain you think he is. That's how we're gonna start this off. And I'm pretty sure we can all agree there's a lot of anime YouTubers, a lot of My Hero YouTubers. Everyone knows what's going on. I'm not trying to be one of them. I simply want to make one point, get it across, and we can call it quits there. You guys rock out on your spotlight. But for all the theories I see, everyone keeps saying, like, you know, Deku's gonna save Shigaraki, and Shigaraki might be the one to stop All for One, and all of that may happen. But I don't know where this ideology of redemption is coming from. Horikoshi's a meticulous man. Everything he's been writing to a T and been planned out, for the most part at least, from what I can assume and from what I can see. I'm gonna stake some bets on the fact that at least 60 to 65 to 70% of this has been planned out in the future, and the rest of it is him maybe going with the flow, kind of seeing things. And you know what? My numbers could be off. Statistics don't matter. I guess my point, as I digress, is that one of the biggest doubts was the traitor plotline, and it was now fully revealed, right? So we can kind of say without a doubt that this man is covering all his bases. And I mean, Shigaraki is a different level of villainy. You know what I mean? There's villains. There's a lot of villains, and there's a lot of good villains. And whenever people have this conversation, they get too wrapped up in which villain is better than who, but it's not about who's better. We have to appreciate the villains we've been given in anime for what they are. The birth of the Ant King. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. Same thing. Shigaraki did something original, something I've never seen before. And okay, if it's happened, you can write it in the comments. I'm not saying I'm right. But I, for the first time, saw the main villain go up to the main hero, pull up on this dude at a mall, and go like, what am I missing? How come nobody takes me seriously? That's pretty fucking cool. Like, that's kind of terrifying. Like, you know what I mean? And I could go on and on and on, but it's little examples like that. When he first pulled up after the overhaul arc on some I'll do it myself. You know, you were lacking conviction. What did he get? Conviction. It's a beautiful sentiment. But the whole thing is we watched him be a villain who started with no true ideals. He didn't even truly know what he wanted. He was what they called a man-child. So you get to watch his evolution, and now it's to the point where when he pulled up on Stars and Stripes, she's like, are you the one that they call All for One? And you know what? I'm drunk right now. So she could have said, are you the one they call All for One? Or she could have said, are you the villain known as Shigaraki Tomura? It's one of the two. I don't remember which one right now. But either way, his response was something along the lines of, gee, I wonder, who am I? Like with no smile, like just like head hurts, like need sleep, like shit's all fucked up. That's wild, man. That's wild. And I mean, he spent this entire time trying to get conviction, trying to be taken seriously. So, as meticulous as Horikoshi is, do you really think that this man Shigaraki is going to bail out with something as easy as talk no jutsu? No. No. Even if he ends up killing All for One with his own decay quirk, he's not going to do it for the sake of the heroes. He's going to do it for the sake of the fact that All for One disrespected him. It's going to kind of be like the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, spoilers again, where they're talking to Vanitas, and it's like, but like, why? And he's like, darkness. And it's like, but why? And he's like, darkness. And it's like, but like, we're brothers. But if we're brothers, why won't you stand by us? He's like, I'm the shadow you cast. Like, that's the type of time this nigga's on. Obviously, it's going to be much better written. Much more things driven behind it. And by the way, all Kingdom Hearts fans, I'm not talking shit. That is a Kingdom Hearts tattoo. It's one of my favorite things of all time. I love Kingdom Hearts, and I think Vanitas is actually pretty well written when you get into his. Anyway, point is, I'm not disrespecting. Point is, though, it's going to be one of those lines where it's like, you're not reasoning with this guy. It's like young Xehanort, and he's like, fuck you. Like, it's not happening, man. Shigaraki Tombara is tired. Before all the, well, not before, in the midst of all the villainy, before My Villain Academia, during the Overhaul arc, when Toga stepped to him and she was like, why are we even here? Why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? And he looked at her with a straight face and he's like, honestly, I'm doing this for me, but I am also doing this for all of you. He's just tired. It's not something that needs to be over-explained. But I don't think Shigaraki's going to have some kind of cop-out or any kind of redemption. And I've seen many YouTubers predict that even if he kills All For One, he will end up dying anyway, because that will reach his limit and he'll end up decaying himself. Obviously, the Korok evolution factor, and without the healing factor from All For One itself, regenerating him, obviously, I get it. I'm not dumb. I'm simply saying that from an emotional standpoint, a sentimental standpoint, from his final thoughts standpoint, I think the tragedy of My Hero Academia is that even though Shigaraki ends up being the one to maybe finally kill All For One with his bare hands, he won't be doing it thinking about, I'm finally going to be the hero that I wanted to be all this time. I sadly think that he'll decay All For One, and then those final moments just kill because he knows that killing is all he can do. I know that sounds morbid and completely unrealistic and completely irrational. And, that's not typical shonen format. But it's one of those things where Horikoshi went out of the way to show the backstory, went out of his way to show Shigaraki's struggles, to show the fact that Shigaraki wanted to be a hero. So if he wanted to be a hero that bad, I mean, the man could have had a little bit of more self-control. I mean, look at the things he's done. Atrocious. So ultimately, no matter how sympathetic that now you will be made to feel for this man, he's gonna die in the webs he wove. Tokyo Ghoul, Season 2. Episode either 1 or 2. A lot of people hate because it's not canon anymore. But the owl looks at the CCG and says, Ghoul kills man, man kills ghoul. We all tell ourselves that our enemies deserve what's coming to them. But at the end of the day, there is no justifiable reason to take another living creature's life. And I think that means something. So regardless of atonement, regardless of how bad you feel for Shigaraki at the end, if he has an unsatisfying resolution where he dies and his last thoughts are nothing but anger and hatred, it's because he simply said himself that that's all he was, and he wasn't capable of any more. And the whole wanting to be saved by Deku, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a villain. I side with them more than the heroes, but after all the people Shigaraki's killed, does he deserve to be saved? And that, my friends, is where that's a question that only you can answer. And an answer that Horikoshi will give us one day. Thank you for your time. You guys have a great night. Take care.